After successfully redeeming the possessive, unstable villain, I hugged her before I left. Mi Cai, I want to get married. She said nothing. She neither agreed nor refused. Then she turned and walked out. While she was gone, I faked my death and returned to my original world. I had barely sat down when I heard a warning: romance mission failed. Return immediately to fix it. The next second, I was back in the novel's world. 7 full years had passed since I disappeared. Mi Cai had become an all-powerful mogul. At that moment, she had just grabbed a man who looked almost exactly like me and thrown him to the floor. You've got some nerve. Using his face to marry me? Don't you know he's the person I hate most in this world? After a wave of dizziness, I realized I was in a city, inside its most luxurious 7-star hotel. The entire ballroom had been transformed for a wedding. The welcome sign at the entrance read, Bride, Mi Cai. Groom, Fang Yuan. I clutched my chest in agony. System, you're cruel. You're making me watch my ex-girlfriend marry another man. Come on, I'd only been home for 1 day. I hadn't even recovered from our devastating breakup. The system suddenly chimed in. Someone's handing out food. I changed my tune faster than I could turn a page. I accepted the wedding favor from a groomsman, turning all my pent-up misery into an appetite. Feeding myself came first. Wow, there was even a huge hazelnut dark chocolate bar. The system murmured in my mind. Host, actually, Mi Cai, always did whatever you said. You once casually mentioned that wedding treats had to be hazelnut chocolate. You said you hated chewing fruity candy. Who knew she would keep that detail so close to her heart? I waved dismissively, pretending not to care. Stupid system, shut up already. Stop talking and ruining my appetite. Rich cocoa butter slowly melted on my tongue. Mi Cai must have put salt in this chocolate. How else could it taste sweet and bitter going down? An older woman beside me handed me a tissue. Young men these days are so emotional. How did a wedding move you to tears? She glanced at my left hand. She spotted the plain band on my middle finger and smiled from ear to ear. Pay attention and learn how weddings work. I bet it won't be long before your big day arrives. I really wanted to tell her that will never happen for me. The girl I had never stopped longing for was wearing a wedding dress to marry someone else. That completely broke me. Covering my face, I rushed into the restroom and sobbed my heart out. Even while crying, I kept track of the time, afraid too many tears would swell my eyes like walnuts. 10 minutes later. Host, no wonder out of more than 100 people, you were the only one to successfully redeem a villain. My brow immediately furrowed. You'd better explain this clearly today. Why, when I clearly saved her? Do you insist my mission failed? The system snapped back. Didn't you admit it yourself? You did redeem the girl, but she still had no place for you in her heart. Mi Cai's affection level for you is currently 99%. I refuse to accept that. Why cap me 99? Wasn't I good enough to her? The system could not resist mocking me. Who told you to give her a rejection card before running away? You casually said you wanted to settle down. She immediately ran to a jewelry store to pick out a diamond ring for you. Then, on the way, she received news of your death. I told you to choose a less horrifying way to disappear. Stop with all those dramatic tricks. But you insisted it was more artistic. When I wiped my tears and sneaked back into the ballroom, the whole place had already been smashed to pieces. The friends and relatives who had filled the room scattered like startled sparrows. Not a single person was left. The groom, Fang Yuan, was crumpled on the floor weeping. Mi Cai, meanwhile, wore a cold expression. She lifted the red wine in her glass and mercilessly poured it over his head. You've got some nerve. Using his face to marry me? Don't you know? He's the person I hate most in this world. My legs gave out, and I dropped into a crouch. I scrambled beneath a round table. I am Yen Mo. Fang Yuan lifted his head unwillingly. Tears kept welling in his eyes. Mi Cai, you promised my father you'd marry me. Why humiliate me in public today? If you truly despise this face of mine, why did you agree in the first place? Mi Cai let out a chilling scoff. She could not even spare him a glance. Two burly men in black suits came from the corner and dragged Fang Yuan out despite his wails. Don't touch my face. I know I was wrong. Please give Mi Cai a message from me. I swear I'll never pull anything like this again. Not long after, one of the men in black returned. He bowed respectfully to Mi Cai. Boss, that punk's face is completely ruined. Should we follow the usual procedure now? Mi Cai did not even blink. The system took the chance to report host. I just checked the records. Before this unlucky Fang Yuan, 5 other suicidal fools had surgery to look like you, hoping to use that face to seduce Mi Cai. They all met the same fate. They vanished without warning, without a trace left behind. But the classified files show that among those men, for have long been dead, the sole survivor was exiled to the African savannah. He rambles like a madman every day. His mind is probably completely gone. I trembled all over as I listened. Before I left, I clearly told her to be a law-abiding citizen. How was any of this remotely like being a model citizen? Just then, she leisurely closed in on the round table where I was hiding. I clamped a hand over my mouth, desperately praying, "Don't find me. Please, don't find me. Please, don't come this way." Suddenly, a cold gust swept over my head. The tablecloth and table above me were flung aside. Mi Cai's eyes, icy to the bone, locked directly onto mine. "This body of yours does bear some resemblance to him." My throat tightened as I swallowed hard. I shook my head like a motor. "Beautiful lady, you've definitely got the wrong person." The instant Mi Cai's gaze softened, Mi Cai clamped down on my shoulders. I scrambled up and ran. But before I got far, someone yanked me back. I thought she would hold me tight like she used to, and cry her heart out in grievance. The system shook like a leaf in my mind. "Host, you're completely delusional. Right now, Mi Cai's love level for you has plunged to negative 9,999. By all reason, after being redeemed, she should never have fallen back into darkness. But your affection levels shatter the system's lowest warning threshold long ago." Sure enough, Mi Cai clamped her hand around my throat. "Yen Mo, I truly wonder if you even have a heart." A terrifying crimson tinge filled the corners of her eyes. Her entire body trembled faintly. "If you were returning to your own world, couldn't you have explained it to me? Do you know what day it was when you vanished?" "It was my birthday. That morning, the moment I opened my eyes. You said you dreamed we registered our marriage and held a wedding." After hearing that, I ran out to choose roses and matching rings. But while I was on my way back, they told me your cruise ship had an accident. Everyone aboard was fine, yet you alone had died. You cannot imagine how devastated I was. On my way to the scene, I stumbled and crawled until I was covered in injuries. When I finally reached the shore, I found the diamond ring had been lost somewhere long ago. Back then, I even blamed myself obsessively. I thought I must not have been good enough. So, you casually friend-zoned me. You left without even a final goodbye. But later, I learned the truth. You were bound to some system. From the moment we first met, you never intended to spend your life with me. I was only a mission to you. You made me unable to live without you, then walked away without mercy. Mi Cai's voice grew increasingly hoarse, and it made my chest ache. Instinctively, I raised a hand to touch her cheek, but she pinned my wrist down hard, with the harsh sound of fabric being ripped apart. A cold gust swept across my chest. "Yen Mo, I hate you more than anything. If I cannot keep your heart, then if we have a child, you would not be heartless enough to abandon your own child too, would you? Damn system, save me." I roared frantically in my head. "At your service, dear host. Put your mind at ease." I thoughtfully took the liberty of maxed out your body's sensitivity. That means 10 times the usual intensity. Now just relax and enjoy this passionate night. 10,000 curses sprang to mind, but Mi Cai's burning kiss silenced them in my throat. I could only surrender completely to her rhythm. As my mind drifted into a haze, I heard once again in my head the system's irritating voice. "Dear host, can you still hold on? Looking at you, I doubt you even have the strength to speak. How much longer is this going to last?" Never mind. Focus on handling her. Do not get distracted talking to me. The moment I lose focus, Mi Cai's movements immediately become fiercer and more commanding. "Want me to raise your stamina limit too? Maybe you and Mi Cai will work better together. Oh, and one more thing, host. I secretly used a little privilege just now. I slipped something into Mi Cai's subconscious. The adult videos you usually watch. I reckon Mi Cai now will copy every trick in them and give you the full demonstration." When I saw Mi Cai suddenly rise up and slung one of my legs over her shoulder, my vision went dark. I was done for. This was a hands-on lesson now. I had no idea how many grueling hours I had endured. Satisfied, Mi Cai swept me up in a bridal carry. She washed me clean from head to toe. Then she called for 2 sets of new clothes. "Do not worry. I will not get pregnant." I took a contraceptive pill beforehand. My mouth fell open in shock. I found it somewhat unbelievable. The system spoke quietly. "Host, why not look up at Mi Cai's expression now? She is on the verge of tears." I looked up, and my eyes met. the self-mocking, bitter smile curling on Mi Cai's lips. I know it all. Yun Mo, you never wanted children with me. You never even considered a future for us. Mi Cai silently walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. With her back to me, she would not look at me again. She casually tossed a black card onto the snow-white sheets. Go. This card has no spending limit. You could never spend all the money on it in one lifetime. Can you take it back to your world with you? If not, I will find another way. I hurriedly explained in alarm. Mi Cai, you have it all wrong. This time, I absolutely do not plan to ditch you and vanish without a word again. Mi Cai gave a cold snort. I know exactly what is going on. You must have accepted some new mission, and now you are rushing off to save someone else. You will treat her as well as you once treated me. Once you've deceived her into loving you, you will discard her, just like you discarded me. I shook my head desperately. It is not what you think. Oh, so you definitely will not abandon your new love, right? So I am the only one you truly abandoned. The system panicked. Hurry. Host, hurry and think of a way to fix this. Mi Cai's affection level for you is plummeting like crazy. It has already dropped below -1,000. If it drops any further, she'll spiral back into darkness. What a crazy woman. I cursed under my breath. Then I rushed straight to Mi Cai. I cupped her cheeks in both hands and kissed her without hesitation. Wifey, give me a kiss. I am not going anywhere. For the rest of my life, I will only cling to you. You are incredible, dear host. Her affection level instantly shot back up to 99. But the very next second, the system suddenly shouted, Hey, wait, did my background program glitch? How did her affection drop to -1 again in the blink of an eye? Host, I want to formally report this woman, Mi Cai. She is definitely manipulating the score on purpose. This is blatant score suppression. Hey, why are you kissing again all of a sudden? Worn out by it all, I collapsed and fell into a dead sleep. In my sleep, I fell into another strange dream. I dreamed that Mi Cai had formed a research team. Every night, deep after midnight, she sat in the apartment we once rented, speaking to the stars filling the night sky. At first, she would always murmur, Yun Mo, that parallel universe where you are. Could it be hidden in one of the stars overhead? Everyone thinks I am a rich idiot, wasting billions researching how to travel through time and space. You really know how to torment me. I keep telling myself that if I spend every last cent and still cannot find you, I should just die. Yet I cannot bear to give up and only want to earn more money. So I can keep searching for you without end, until the day I can no longer open my eyes. Why would you not even say goodbye to me? Over the countless long nights that followed, Mi Cai became quieter and quieter. When I finally woke up, everything below my neck was so numb it no longer felt like my own body. The system shouted excitedly in my mind. Dear host, Mi Cai's affection level for you has miraculously soared back to 99. You have taken a historic step forward. As I rubbed my unbearably sore lower back, I began planning my next move. I had to admit, when it came to winning Mi Cai over, Mi Cai made things incredibly easy for me. Since that day, it was as though we had reached an unspoken agreement. She never once mentioned how I vanished without a word 7 years ago. The system's cutting assessment was, I finally understand now. The only reason you pulled her out of the abyss back then was because she kept imagining explanations and talking herself into loving you. It is purely because she is too sincere and trusting. Even so, Mi Cai still found every possible way to make trouble for me. She forced me to become her personal secretary, then declared without a trace of shame, Yun Mo, you owe me this. It is your debt to repay. So there I was, squatting outside her office, doodling aimlessly on a scrap of paper. She even had the absurd idea of making me personally design a diamond ring, claiming mysteriously that it would be useful someday. Other than being first in line for a meal, I had practically no other skills, and she wanted me to design jewelry. That was a complete waste of time. As I loitered bored out of my mind outside her office, I often overheard some juicy gossip. The most explosive incident was when a flatterer hoping to curry favor with Mi Cai approached her and offered to take her to the city's most lavish pleasure den that evening, so she could experience the finest pleasures in the world. Mi Cai's gaze flicked straight toward the door. She lowered her voice and said something. The man went pale, bowing repeatedly as he apologized. I quickly sent the system to eavesdrop and record their conversation. Only then did I learn Mi Cai's exact words. My husband is sitting right outside. How dare you talk that nonsense in front of me? Are you sick of living and looking to die? So, when Mi Cai came out of the office, I was still resting my chin in my hand, with a cryptic, knowing smile on my lips, staring straight at her. Mi Cai's eyelid twitched almost imperceptibly. She forced herself to look ice-cold. Do not flatter yourself. I do not mean anything else. I was only using you to ward off unwanted admirers. Yenmo, surely you are not narcissistic enough to think I am pathetic enough to still be hopelessly in love with you after all this time. I grumbled to myself. No question about it. I think you absolutely are. What do you think, system? The system nodded wildly in my head. Old Lee was naturally friendly, and within days, we were calling each other brothers. One day, we were sitting side by side on the steps, cracking sunflower seeds and chatting away. He suddenly let out a heavy sigh. Mr. Yuan, there are things you may not know. Before you reappeared, our boss had not for a very long time. I quickly cut him off. Uncle Lee, I get it. I get it. Are you trying to tell me that before I came back, Mi Cai had not genuinely smiled in a long time? See, that is what I said. This irresistible charm of mine. Old Lee was left speechless for a long moment. He waved his hands repeatedly. No, Mr. Yuan. What I meant was, before you came back, our boss's insomnia had been cured for a long time. But ever since you showed up, her insomnia has not only returned, it is worse than ever. Now, every hour, she has to quietly get out of bed, quietly feel her way, barefoot, to your door, quietly crack it open, and stare to make sure you have not slipped away again. I might as well tell you the truth. The boss actually sent me specifically to watch you, afraid you would fly the coop. After hearing that, I let out a long breath. Then I smugly raised my chin. She still cares about me that much. Old Lee looked at me like I was an idiot, sizing me up from head to toe. Then he lowered his voice mysteriously. Mr. Yuan, the boss says you made off with something extremely precious to her. She repeatedly told me to keep a close eye on you. I was completely baffled. I have been framed. I really did not steal anything from her. I swear, I absolutely did not steal it. Just then, the phone in old Lee's pocket suddenly rang. Thief, you walk away with what you never earned. Thief, you stole everything from me, including my heart. My lips twitched as I forced out an awkward smile. Uncle Lee, your ringback tone is pretty cutting edge. Old Lee scratched his head sheepishly. This was all the boss's idea. She said to use it as my ringtone. She even said the melody was catchy, and told me to play it on repeat whenever I had time. My brow instantly furrowed. System, why do I feel like Mi Cai chose this song to take a jab at me? The system answered darkly. Did you not steal her heart? At midnight, after watching too many food live streams before bed, my cravings were fully awakened. I was so hungry I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Just as I was getting irritated, the phone by my bed suddenly vibrated. I grabbed it, and look. The screen showed an incoming call from Gloomy Puppy. Still half asleep, I answered the call. Mi Cai, give my sweet dreams back. An eerie silence hung on the other end for several seconds. I cannot sleep. Keep me company. I snapped back irritably. How am I supposed to do that in the middle of the night? Do you expect me to ride that beat-up little electric scooter across half of A City to bring you comfort? Open the door. I am right outside. The moment I heard that, I sprang out of bed. Barefoot, I rushed to the door. I yanked it open and actually found Mi Cai standing outside. She held bulging bags of barbecue in both hands. With a look of disgust, she shoved them into my arms. I picked it up off the street. Eat it or do not. If you do not eat it, I will toss it in the trash. Every trace of my grumpiness vanished instantly. She was just too good to me. She even clearly remembered that my favorite late-night craving was street-side barbecue. I was digging in with gusto when the insanely spicy food made me gasp for air. My throat was on fire. I needed an ice-cold herbal tea to save my life. Mi Cai, who had kept her usual icy expression, as if by magic, somehow, produced another can of iced herbal tea and held it out to me. Oh, thanks. I eagerly reached for it, but she nimbly pulled it away. That is it. Not even a special name for me. The spice had twisted my features. Thank you, baby. No, that is not the one. Then, thank you, my dear wife. That does not sound heartfelt at all. You make it sound as if I forced you to say it. I fought hard to suppress the urge to rush over and smack Mi Cai. Gritting my teeth, I could only force a sugary fake smile. Thanks, wifey. Only then did Mi Cai give a slight nod. Clearly pleased, she gave a contented hum. I knew you still wanted to call me that. Right, Yun Mo. I froze mid-chew over my grilled squid, silently calling her a lunatic. But I still could not help it. A smile inexplicably tugged at my lips. I never dreamed I would run into Fang Yuan again. That day, as usual, I was slacking at my desk, binge-watching shows. Then the system suddenly sounded an alarm in my mind. Host, hurry and take a look in Mi Cai's office. This sudden warning left me stunned. What is going on? Why do you sound like you are plotting something shady? I got up, walked to the office door, and knocked softly. Mi Cai answered from inside and told me to come in. But one look was all it took. What I saw nearly scared the soul out of me. She was actually talking face-to-face with Fang Yuan. The moment Fang Yuan saw me enter, he turned to leave without a word. As we passed each other, he lowered his voice and hissed a threat through clenched teeth. Do you know who I am? Do not think crawling back from the dead means you have won. One day, Mi Cai will be mine. I will make her pay dearly for ruining my face. And I will make sure you end up worse off than I am. I wanted to roll my eyes so hard. I was speechless. I quickly called the system in my mind. Who does this guy think he is? How can he talk so arrogantly? I really wanted to slap some manners into him. Only then did the system leisurely explain. Fang Yuan is actually the original male lead of this novel. According to the original plot, after the female lead had put him through hell, Mi Cai, the villainous female supporting character, was supposed to take him in and become his safe haven. Unfortunately, because of the wild card that is you, Mi Cai never followed the script and took him in. So now, he and the female lead are finished. There is no hope of getting back together. I have keenly noticed that Fang Yuan's hostility toward you is off the charts. I suspect this jerk will become an obstacle in your mission to win her over. I shrugged indifferently. I did not give it a second thought. I walked over and plopped down on Mi Cai's desk. Baby, what were you whispering about with Fang Yuan just now? The corner of Mi Cai's mouth curved into a teasing smile. What? Are you jealous? Want to know? Forget it. Suddenly, I do not want to know. I pretended to turn and leave. But Mi Cai grabbed me tightly. She stared straight at me. Did you come back this time just to trample on my feelings again? I shrugged carelessly. Think whatever you want. I am a glutton for punishment. I willingly let you torment me. So, can we get straight to the point now? You can torment me however you like. The system began frantically complaining in my mind. Hey, you two are taking things in a very unexpected direction. I have not even buckled my seatbelt yet. Before long, Chinese Valentine's Day arrived. Old Li and I secretly turned an empty room in the villa into a hospital-themed haunted escape room. Old Li eyed the eerie setup, his face full of concern. Mr. Yun, is this really where you and the boss first fell in love? I thumped my chest confidently. Absolutely. When I first transmigrated into this world, Mi Cai was still a college student. During summer break, she worked at a theme park haunted house as an actor, earning some extra cash. Back then, the terrifying sound effects sent me scurrying around the room in a blind panic. In my panic, I dove straight into a warm embrace. I clung to her tightly and refused to let go. The system kept ruthlessly heckling me from the sidelines. Host, take it easy. Keep squeezing her, and she will be filing a workplace injury claim. In that pitch-black little room, the heat steadily rising from Mi Cai's body is something I will never forget. Heh. I am getting off track. Back to the point. I went to all this trouble today to give Mi Cai a huge surprise. We can make up for what we never got to finish back then. Look at this equipment. The reclining chair, a stethoscope, a speculum, a lab coat, medical rubber gloves, and a patient gown. It has everything. The system wailed in my mind. Oh, for heaven's sake. What are you up to now? I seriously doubt that when you reach your prime, whether Mi Cai's slight frame can handle you when you reach that wild, insatiable stage. I rolled my eyes without restraint. What is wrong with treating my wife well because I care about her? How is that any of your business? All right. Shut up already. Mi Cai is home from work. I need to open the door for her. I bounced over and opened the door. Brimming with excitement, I gave Mi Cai a huge bear hug. Mi Cai slightly raised an eyebrow. Her gaze was faintly scrutinizing as she looked me over from head to toe. Have you been doing something you should not behind my back again? My face instantly turned red as I hurriedly protested. Of course not. Is that really how you see me? A low chuckle slipped from Mi Cai's throat. She looked at me with a teasing, unreadable glint in her eyes. I am terribly sorry. But you do have a history with me. Now I have to stay on guard against you every second. You little heart thief. My teeth itched with frustration, but there was nothing I could do. Pouting, I could only grab Mi Cai's arm and drag her upstairs to the carefully prepared dark room. You are definitely going to pay for what you just said. Mi Cai, open your eyes wide. Take a good look at the grand gift I had planned for you. I threw open the door. The hospital escape room from back then had been perfectly recreated down to every last detail. While Mi Cai stood there stunned, I grabbed a pair of handcuffs and locked them around her wrist. I have changed my mind. Today, I will play the doctor. You will be the patient at my mercy. Now, be good and lie down in that chair. Just as I did when I was so scared my legs went weak. Mi Cai did not move an inch. Her brows were tightly furrowed, and her thin lips pressed into a straight line. My heart suddenly sank. Had my good intentions backfired? Was this simply not Mi Cai's thing at all? I quickly called the system and had it check Mi Cai's current affection level for me. After checking, the system reported, no change. It is holding steady at 80. 80. Then, what is going on? Oh, I get it. I waved a hand helplessly. Quite willingly, I quickly climbed onto the reclining chair. Fine, I will be the patient after all. You can be the doctor. Mi Cai's gaze settled on me. Her eyes grew even darker and deeper than before. I sighed in resignation. Sigh. I really do understand you best. Mi Cai, you should seriously reflect on that. Who else in this world would spoil you like I do? Mi Cai picked up the stethoscope and stepped toward me. Just as the icy stethoscope was about to touch my skin, she suddenly froze. Mi Cai's long lashes trembled slightly, and her face turned noticeably pale. Yun Mo, I cannot remember it clearly. I quickly clasped her hand. It is okay. Do whatever feels right, improvise. It was pitch black in there back then. It is only natural that you cannot recall every detail. It is not just that. Mi Cai's voice was dry and hoarse. I tried desperately to search through our old memories. Then I realized every little memory connected to you. I cannot remember any of it. I cannot even remember where we went together last week. It is all completely gone. Gaps had begun appearing in Mi Cai's memory. The clearest sign was that she was losing our shared past. This was far too bizarre and targeted to be a coincidence. The system and I immediately turned our suspicions toward Fang Yuan. The system analyzed. Fang Yuan himself is like a Trojan virus. With his abilities, he may actually have found a way to forcibly erase every memory Mi Cai has of you. You know what is happening, do you not? Tell me how to fix it, now. Mi Cai's tone was firm, leaving no room for doubt. She simply stared at me in silence, my panicked, helpless reflection in her eyes. Or is it another part of your plan to get rid of me? You left without a word back then, and made me wait for you for 7 whole years. This time, you plan to make me forget you completely, too. Do I not even have the right to keep you in my heart anymore? The more I heard, the worse I felt. My anger rose by the second. Finally, I covered Mi Cai's mouth with my hand and spilled the whole truth in a rapid-fire rush. Stop letting your imagination run wild. I will never let you forget me. Do you remember Fang Yuan? Like me, he is an operative sent here with a mission. But I do not know what underhanded method he used. Somehow, he gained the power to alter this world's underlying code. He is like a Trojan virus wrecking everything. Right now, he is forcibly invading your memory system. The system and I are at a loss. We have not found a way to stop him. Aside from your memory loss, does anything else feel wrong physically? After hearing me out, Mi Cai suddenly let out a relieved breath. She merely said, oh. Yet the corners of her lips kept lifting, revealing an irrepressible smile. The system dryly remarked in my mind, Host, I would bet that of everything you just said. Mi Cai did not hear a single word. The only thing echoing in her head is probably your first sentence. I will not let you forget me. The corner of my mouth twitched. That is probably exactly it. Just as the system and I were discussing how to deal with Fang Yuan, Mi Cai casually waved her hand. So, what if I forget? We will just start over. We can make even more memories together. With that, she pulled me to my feet. Then she took me straight to another luxury home she owned. The door code was still my birthday. Inside was a sprawling apartment of astonishing size. It was fully furnished and equipped, but it felt cold and lifeless. I looked around the place and was surprised to find its design style and color palette were exactly like the future home we had dreamed of 7 years ago. A wave of guilt rose in my heart. Mi Cai seemed to see straight through me. She leaned close and said in a mocking tone, This is my place of heartbreak, baby. Do you know this apartment stood empty for 7 full years? Other than me, not even a fly ever entered it. I quickly changed the subject, trying to break the awkward tension. I took out my phone and opened a local same-day delivery app. I ordered a stack of household essentials, pots, pans, dishes, and more. Before long, the once empty apartment was filled with everything I bought, warm with life. Mi Cai lounged lazily against the sofa, speaking casually. Are you planning to leave your personal mark all over my place? With my hands on my hips, I retorted righteously. Why not? Mi Cai suddenly perked up. A wicked smile curled across her lips. Sure, but we need a different way to leave your mark. As she spoke, she snapped off the living room lights. The room instantly fell into darkness. Only the light beyond the panoramic windows remained, the city's dazzling neon spilling across the room. Then, behind me came the rustle of clothes brushing together and falling away. She shoved me against the floor-to-ceiling window. The cold glass against my skin sent a shiver through me. My voice trembling, I stammered. People outside might see us. Mi Cai's voice was husky. Let them see. It will let them see clearly. How you became my personal possession, mine alone. Is that not right, my baby? The system shouted excitedly in my mind. Front row stools, sunflower seeds, peanuts, and bottled water for sale. I had been swept up in the moment, but that punchable voice instantly sobered me up. Get lost. System, do not think I do not know. You have a filter for adult content. Turn it on now. But the useless system pretended not to hear me, acting offline and ignoring me. I roared furiously in my mind. You damn system, in your next life, just be reborn as a peeping cat. You clearly love watching things you should not. Though Mi Cai and I worked every day to make new memories, her amnesia kept getting worse. Even after I made the system use all my points to exchange for a USB drive that supposedly stored memories, backing up every moment Mi Cai and I shared, then painstakingly reinstilling them in her every single day. I could not stop her from remembering something one moment and forgetting it completely the next. The system explained helplessly. Fang Yuan has altered Mi Cai's underlying programming. Her current setting is this. Whenever she encounters anyone or anything related to you, it triggers an automatic mechanism that rejects it. So no matter how often you reinforce those memories, this will happen. Gradually, Mi Cai could not even remember my birthday. She also forgot we had planned to see a newly released movie that afternoon. I was frantic, unable to sit still. Ever since the system said, I will find a solution, it had been unreachable for a full 2 weeks. And at this critical moment, Fang Yuan appeared again like a ghost. He kept showing up as various random strangers, forcing his way into Mi Cai's and my lives, as though forcibly planning new memories. At first, Mi Cai could barely distinguish those awful incidents involving Fang Yuan. But later, she not only forgot them completely, she even began feeling inexplicably drawn to Fang Yuan. Sometimes she would even unconsciously blurt out a few words praising him. All I could do was tirelessly remind Mi Cai again and again, telling her Fang Yuan's true intentions. Thankfully, every time she heard me out, she would take my hand, her eyes resolute. Yun Mo, I may not have those memories, but I am willing to trust every word you say without question. Tears welled in my eyes. Silently, I prayed that the system would return quickly with a solution. But before the system returned, Mi Cai was the one who asked to break up with me. Her expression was so cold and distant as if I were a stranger. Her eyes hollow and utterly lifeless. She was like a marionette with every trace of life drained from her. The pain in my heart nearly suffocated me. I held her tightly, refusing to let go. Instinctively, she held me back. I felt every muscle in her body tense tight. Her teeth clenched with an audible grind, as if she were fighting with everything she had against some invisible mental control. It was her body's muscle memory that made her instinctively want to hold me. In the end, she actually forced herself to bite her lips until they bled. I could not bear to watch her suffer like this. In the end, I slowly let her go. Mi Cai turned and walked out without looking back. Just as she was about to cross the threshold, her rigid, machine-like body suddenly froze. She whipped around and looked deeply at me. I clamped a hand over my mouth. Tears poured out like floodwaters from a broken dam. I knew she could not truly let me go, so I secretly followed her. She walked very, very slowly, far slower than an ordinary stroll. I followed her with ease, until we reached an abandoned auto repair shop on the outskirts. The place was decrepit, filthy, and utterly squalid. Rotting, Foul-smelling garbage was piled everywhere, along with rusted, discarded fuel drums. Holding my breath, I hid behind a pile of old tires. I watched Fang Yuan emerge from a corrugated metal shack. His scar-covered face was grotesquely twisted, like a demon that had crawled out of the deepest circle of hell. An eerie smile still hung on his lips. He opened his arms to embrace Mi Cai, but Mi Cai recoiled from him in disgust. Fang Yuan instantly flew into a rage, humiliated and furious, roaring almost hysterically. Mi Cai, even if you are desperately clinging to your last shred of sanity, you are wasting your time. Unless I die here today, sooner or later, you will become a toy at my mercy. My eyelids twitched sharply. A mad plan sprang into my mind. I would lie in wait at this exit. I calculated that the moment that bastard Fang Yuan showed himself, I would floor the gas and run him over. But after 5 days and 5 nights of waiting, that metal door never opened again. Mi Cai was trapped under the same roof as him. I could not bear to imagine what that animal Fang Yuan could be doing to her in his madness. Finally, in the silent pre-dawn hours of the 5th day, Fang Yuan staggered out, clutching his violently bleeding neck as he fled. Close behind him came Mi Cai, covered in wounds. She gripped a blood-stained fruit knife tightly in her hand. Fang Yuan had suffered a complete mental breakdown, as though he had been terrified beyond reason. Mi Cai, you are fucking insane. For Yun Mo, you actually dared to kill me with a knife. He has been playing you from the start. He abandoned you without mercy. You pathetically waited for him 7 years. Was that not enough? I am this novel's absolute protagonist. You were written to fall in love with me. Do you understand that? Mi Cai's eyes were terrifyingly empty. Her bloodless face was white as paper. She swayed as if she might collapse at any moment. A malicious sneer tugged at Fang Yuan's lips. You still want to keep fighting me, do you? Fine, then enjoy the feeling of every nerve in your body tearing apart. A pain worse than death. Mi Cai forced herself to raise the knife, using her last ounce of strength to stab Fang Yuan. But she suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood, then collapsed unconscious. Fang Yuan viciously spat at Mi Cai's fallen body, then swaggered away. My heart felt as though it were splitting apart. I ran to her like a madman, my hands shaking as I checked Mi Cai's injuries. She struggled to lift her heavy eyelids, squinting weakly at me. Baby, he did not get the chance to do anything to me. I did not let him touch me. I am still untouched. I sobbed uncontrollably, unable to form a single complete sentence. Just then, two blinding headlights suddenly tore through the darkness, shining directly on us. Fang Yuan, seated behind the wheel, grinned, like a complete madman. So you finally had the nerve to show yourself. Yun Mo, I finally understand now. Only by sending you to hell. Will she love me again? If it were not for you, this damned variable, how could I have ended up discarded by the female lead like garbage? Mi Cai was meant to be the supporting heroine, made just for me. Only if I got together with her would the female lead go mad with jealousy. Then she would come crying back, begging me to take her back. What right do you have to step in and save her? She is nothing but a tool, and that stupid system in your head actually thought it could defy me. It is just a worthless string of data with no physical form. I only typed a few lines of code and erased it from this world completely. You ruined everything that was once perfect, since you to love each other so desperately, then die together today. Fang Yuan slammed the accelerator to the floor. The raging SUV roared straight toward me. I desperately tried to drag Mi Cai to safety, but the difference in our sizes was far too great. I could not move her an inch. Just as the SUV was about to hit us, Mi Cai got up and dodged with me. We tumbled miserably aside. The vehicle spun out of control and slammed into a load-bearing wall. Fuel began gushing from the front of the car. It was the deadly warning of an imminent explosion. Terrified, Fang Yuan frantically shoved at the door, trying to escape. I saw Mi Cai endure the tearing agony throughout her body, then staggered to her feet. I instantly understood what she intended to do. I tried to rush over and stop her like a madman, but Mi Cai turned and fixed her eyes on me. Yun Mo, you absolutely cannot go over there. He said it himself just now. You are a tasker here on a mission. If you fail your mission here, or die in this world because of this accident, you will never return to your original world. Before your system completely collapsed and vanished, it left me one final message. It begged me to keep you safe. Your mission progress has already reached 100%. Before it disappeared, it applied to its superiors for your forced extraction. In that split second, Mi Cai had already rushed like the wind toward the car that could explode at any moment. With all her strength, she pinned Fang Yuan inside the vehicle. She cut off his last hope of escape. The man let out a desperate, piercing scream. Mi Cai, you are truly insane. You will be blown to pieces too. There was not a ripple in Mi Cai's dark eyes. A faint smile even rested on her lips. Scorching flames had already licked at her skin. 1 second before the explosion, she hurled out a ring that glimmered faintly. I instinctively reached out and caught it. Looking down, I saw the ring's design was exactly like the sketch I had drawn. The phone in my pocket suddenly vibrated. It was a scheduled text message from Mi Cai. She must have written it long ago and said it to send at this moment. This ring was made from the design you drew yourself. Do not make excuses anymore and say you do not like it. I had planned to use it to propose to you, but I do not think I will get that chance. I vaguely remember. Taskers like you can bring diamond rings back to reality. So I am begging you, take it back with you, okay? Let it be as though I will always be by your side, all right? To speak from my heart, I have loved you desperately from beginning to end. I knew your mission was to raise my affection for you to 100. So I suppressed my feelings with everything I had, never letting the bar fill. Do you know how hard that was for me? Never mind, now. More than anything, I hope that in a time and place without me, you can live more freely and happily. There is one final thing. Something I have long wanted to tell you myself. I love you. My husband. A scorching tear splashed onto the screen, blurring the words into a kaleidoscope of surreal colors. Then came an irritating boom, and towering flames instantly swallowed everything. My desperate cries were reduced to ash along with it. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have completed the mission. Target, Mi Cai. Affection level 999,990. Your bonus has been paid in full. This novel world has been completely erased. Initiating transfer. Returning you to your original world. Please wait. I jolted upright from my bed as if electrocuted. The midday sunlight warmed my entire body. The pillow beneath me was fluffy and soft, carrying the warm scent of sunshine. Only the 2 tear tracks on my face had not dried. The massive explosion felt like an absurd nightmare. Yet the text alert showing 10 million deposited into my account proved that everything I had lived through was real. Before long, overwhelming emotions came crashing back, because I knew with painful clarity that world had completely collapsed and vanished. I would never see Mi Cai again. It was probably the hardest I had ever cried in my entire life. Even the older woman next door kindly came knocking at my door, asking through the door what had happened. I wiped my tears miserably, but no matter how I wiped, they would not stop. I barely endured that week in a daze. I was so weak that even getting up took all my strength. Then the doorbell suddenly rang. At the door stood a tall woman, wearing a tailored suit and heels, with an air of quiet nobility. She languidly looked down at the gray and white kitten in her arms. She glanced at the small diamond ring on my left middle finger, and immediately beamed. The gray kitten gave a lazy yawn. Its big, watery eyes opened wide. I bit my lip hard. The arm bracing me against the door began to tremble. Mi Cai, is that you? The woman raised her head. It was the face I had missed day and night. I could not stop myself from throwing myself into her arms. Mi Cai froze for a moment, then tossed the kitten onto the floor and pulled me tightly into her embrace. This is the first time you have ever been so passionate with me. You are not plotting to abandon me again, are you? You heartless little thing. Do you know how hard the system and I worked to find you here? If you are going to dump me, could you not wait 2 days until we know this place better? I choked back a sob. No, I will never leave you again. Mi Cai, let us spend the rest of our lives together. Mi Cai gave a soft laugh and intertwined her fingers with mine. She motioned for me to look down at the kitten circling around us. Did you hear that? My husband said he wants to spend his life with me. He did not say he wants to spend his life with you. The kitten raised its head and gave me a resentful look. I thought I heard the system's agitated voice. Host, what about me? What am I, after willingly becoming a kitten for you? Please mute the world and listen to the sound of my heart breaking.